Hi everyone, my name's Jillyfish and I'll be delivering your weekly update for Old School RuneScape. If you've been enjoying these creator-driven updates, make sure to like the video and add your thoughts in the comments down below. This week brings some minor updates and improvements along with a recap of the April Gazette, which quite possibly might be the longest Gazette yet. First, let's start with our favorite rune crafting method, Guardians of the Rift. With this week's update, you can now use the Abyssal Red, Abyssal Green, and Abyssal Blue dyes to recolor the Amulet of the Eye and Lost Bag. The Amulet of the Eye can now teleport you to the Guardians of the Rift lobby. The Tarnished Locket and Lost Bag have been added to the collection log, and you can now see the number of rift searches and rifts closed within the collection log. We're also going to see some updates to Beneath Cursed Sands based on some feedback. The dialogue when charging a scepter has been improved to make it clear how many items are being taken and how many charges are being given. The Kara's Partisans / bonus has been removed, and animations on the Shadow Boss have been fixed. We also have a few other changes that you may have noticed. The Easter Bunny's issues in the desert have been resolved, and he's left to start planning for Easter 2023. Any issue with the Finding the Weak Spot combat achievement has been resolved. An issue unlocking the Alchemical Hydra Veteran Combat achievement has now been fixed, and pickaxes no longer randomly accelerate your mining rolls by 1 tick on free-to-play worlds. Also, a typo has been fixed on the settings menu. Now that those updates are out of the way, let's cover this month's Gazette. April's Gazette is one for the books. In fact, it's nearly a book itself. We've got more info on Raids 3, quest speedrunning, a new J mod, and loads of game jam ideas to talk about. Let's start with the update that we're all excited about. Raids 3 or Tombs of a Mascot. Although we don't yet have a concrete release date, the J mods are hard at work to deliver around the month of August. They're polishing up the room-to-room encounters and are almost ready to start on the new invocation system. The brand new invocation system will allow for customizable difficulty within the raid. There will be a mini poll soon to address feedback regarding raid rewards. Even though these rewards have already passed, the team felt like there was room for improvement and would like to deliver even better, so be on the lookout for it. Alongside this news, we've been giving concept art within the raid. The first image looks to be a final room since there's no exit, maybe a boss encounter with balls of clutter that roll down. This next image is definitely a boss encounter. You can see the entrance and exit. Maybe the statue in the center comes to life. We also have some gorgeous concept art of this baboon, and I just hope that he drops bones so that I can make a Gree and become him. And in the pixel tease, you can clearly see the 4 characters: a baboon, human, crocodile, and scarab. I just finished Beneath Cursed Sands, and those characters are sounding pretty familiar. Now, next up here, we have mention of the PvP arena. The JMods have put out a post going into detail about the rewards poll, and it made the PvP feedback Discord public. They'll be assigning contributor roles to roughly 100 people to start with, and they're trying to work better with the community to deliver rewards that are more appealing and less divisive. We also got a Q&A regarding the Giants Foundry, and you can catch up on that by watching the April 26th livestream with Mod Light and Mod Oasis. I definitely recommend checking that out. They even show off a potential new smithing scaling outfit. We also want to remind you about the Deadman rerun open beta that took place. If you participated in the original finale for last year's Deadman mode, you may want to keep an eye on your inbox for invitation details to the second closed beta. Also, know that changes from Pool 76 are in progress. Thank you for your patience on those. In other news, quest speedrunning is coming. We envision that quest speedrunning will take place on special speedrunning worlds, similar to leagues. You'll have a save profile that allows you to speedrun eligible quests as many times as you'd like. Specific time milestones will unlock trophies and give you points that you can transfer to your main profile and spend on exciting new items. These items are likely cosmetic, assuming they pass the polls, and won't impact the main game in any way beyond giving runners a chance to flex. The April Gazette also introduced us to a new J mod. Mud Goblin is pretty cool, and like many of us, has been playing Old School RuneScape since back in the day. We're excited to have Ben on board. Up next, we have some updates from the very first Game Jam. You may have seen some of these posts on Twitter. The Game Jam allowed members of the Old School team to pitch new content. Although these ideas are just concepts for now and none of them are being introduced to the game at this point, they're all still pretty cool and exciting. In one project, we were greeted by Man's Best Friend with the introduction of pet dogs to the game. Another project spiced up Last Man Standing with new modes that allow players to select popular account setups like Zerkers and 1 defense pierce. The Tactical Trials were conceptualized as a wave-based challenge similar to the Fight Caves and the Inferno with a new best-in-slot reward. The trials would include 3 main bosses and would allow you to leave with the loot you've accumulated after clearing waves, or increase the difficulty of the next wave through various modifiers for additional rewards. Up next, we have player-owned farms. Much like a player-owned house, a player-owned farm would be a location in Gielinor where you raise animals and then sell them for beans. There would be locations for ponds and beehives that are dotted throughout the game, similar to traditional farming patches. We also have seasonal high scores that could allow players to compete for temporary or seasonal ranks, and a Port Piscarius rework. The mod team heard how much you loved Hosidius and Shazian reworks, so they drew up some new plans for Karen's shipyard. Now that A Kingdom Divided is live, mods also conceptualized the return of Twisted Tales. There were 4 main ideas. Personally, I'm a sucker for puzzles, so Garden of Death really catches my eye, but the other 3 are really interesting and exciting ideas too. Gnome Ball Manager is another concept that explores the idea of a fantasy-based sports management game, and Way of the Forester ideates a social expansion for woodcutting that makes the skill more dynamic with events, new key features, and mighty tree variants. And one of the biggest and most talked about concepts is the Wilderness expansion. It includes the first world boss spawn, a PKing quest, 2 other new bosses, a safe zone wilderness city, special resource gathering areas requiring keys, a new escort activity that has you running around the wilderness for special rewards, and so much more. Last but not least, we have a concept for a fast-paced trading card game that's playable in the card arena, the games room, and throughout the pubs of Gielinor. Collect, trade, and master the cards. It's time to duel. And that wraps up ideas from the Game Jam within April's Gazette. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't see the Stamina Pot Bridge, but that's okay. Overall, it was great to see various concepts from JMods in Old School RuneScape's first ever Game Jam. Towards the end of the post, we have poll results from a proposal to bring some 07 to 2011 quests back to Old School RuneScape, and it turns out that most of you are interested in seeing all of those quests. The mod team especially wanted to point out that these quests are not a replacement of already scheduled quests of the future, but should help to pad quests throughout. This proposal is in the very early stages, and we shouldn't expect any changes yet. To wrap up the Gazette, we have our player showcase gallery, featuring your creative work. You can submit yours through the Player Showcase Gallery form for a shot at 3 months of free membership. And that's all for this week's recap. You can check me out at the info below. Shout out to my editor Max for helping too. And be on the lookout for my friend Poison Potion, who's going to be back on the channel next week. And that's it for now. Thanks so much, be kind, and don't get possessed by the Devourer.